Hello there, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let's tap into the energy around your connection and the person you're focused on and see what Spirit wants to reveal today. As always, keep what resonates with your heart and release anything that isn't meant for you. All right, Virgo, let's get into your reading. So, the message that I have for you today is this, and you need to receive it fully. A person in your life has not treated you the way you deserve, and they know it fully. They have been selfish, they have been inconsistent, running hot one moment and vanishing cold the next. But something inside them is unraveling right now, because the reality of losing you has finally arrived. They want you back, and that desire is genuine, but a layer beneath it demands your attention. Let us see what the cards are showing today, because this reading does not soften what it finds. So the first card here is the Page of Swords, and this one sets the tone immediately. The Page of Swords represents restless, anxious mental energy, a mind that refuses to stop spinning over you. This person has been watching you from a distance, tracking your moves, analyzing every signal you give off. The Page of Swords confirms they obsessively replay past conversations, searching for clues about where you stand. Their thoughts race constantly, jumping between regret and strategy, calculating their next approach toward you. But the Page of Swords also reveals immaturity in how they process what they feel about you. They want to reach out, but pride and ego intercept, creating a relentless tug of war inside them. The Page of Swords says this person drafts messages to you and deletes them before pressing send. They rehearse apologies in private, construct entire speeches, then convince themselves the timing is not right. The mental noise surrounding you inside their head is deafening, and the Page of Swords confirms it. They cannot escape you. They cannot quiet the thoughts, and that inability drives them toward a breaking point. The next card coming through is the Five of Wands, and this exposes the chaos consuming them. The Five of Wands represents internal conflict, clashing desires, a person at war with their own contradictions. Part of them wants to swallow their pride and return to you with complete vulnerability and surrender. Another part refuses to admit fault, clings to control, and resists the very idea of accountability. The Five of Wands confirms the hot and cold behavior you experienced was never about you personally. It was their internal battlefield spilling outward, their inability to reconcile desire against their deepest fears. The push and pull you felt reflected their fragmented state, not your worth, not your value. The Five of Wands says they are exhausted from fighting themselves, and cracks in that armor are widening. They are losing the ability to pretend they do not care, and that terrifies them beyond measure. The facade they constructed to shield their ego is crumbling under the sheer weight of missing you. Then we have the Devil, and this card pulls raw, unfiltered truth to the surface without mercy. The Devil confirms this person is addicted to you, attached in a way that transcends rational thought. They feel chained to the memory of what you shared, unable to move forward or find any peace. The Devil reveals their selfish behavior was rooted in fear, fear of losing independence, fear of real depth. But now that you have pulled away, the freedom they clung to feels meaningless and hollow inside them. The Devil says they took you for granted because they assumed you would always stay within reach. That assumption shattered, and the shock exposed just how dependent they had become on your presence entirely. The Devil confirms this person is losing it over you, not as a phrase, but as lived reality. They are spiraling, unable to fill the void you left, and every substitute falls painfully short for them. The devil says the version of life they imagined without you has collapsed, and nothing can rebuild it. They are haunted by what they had, tormented by what they discarded, and paralyzed by what follows. Every card in this opening confirms the message, and the weight of it only grows heavier from here. That is what anchors this entire reading, and it only intensifies as we move deeper into the truth. Now, let us shift the focus entirely onto you, because your side of this carries enormous weight. You have been through a cycle with this connection that left marks deeper than you openly admit. The hot and cold treatment did not just frustrate you, it rewired how you view your own worth. You started questioning yourself, wondering if you were too much or not enough. Neither was true. The emotional whiplash you absorbed left you exhausted, guarded, and unsure of your own judgment entirely. Let us look at what the cards reveal about where you stand inside, because it matters profoundly. So, the first card on your side is Strength, and this speaks volumes about your inner landscape. Strength confirms that despite everything you endured, you did not break. You bent, but you held ground. A resilience lives inside you that even you underestimate, a quiet fire that refused to be extinguished. Strength says you have reached a place where you no longer beg for love you know you deserve. That shift happened gradually, almost without you noticing, but it changed the entire dynamic between you. You stopped chasing, you stopped explaining yourself, and that withdrawal is what triggered their unraveling. Strength confirms that your silence was not weakness, it was the most powerful move you could have made. But beneath that composure, strength also reveals a weariness you carry, a tiredness sitting in your bones. You are strong, yes, but you are worn down from holding yourself together through so much inconsistency. Strength says you deserve to rest from the labor of loving a person who refused to meet you. You gave more than you received, absorbed more than you should have, and your spirit knows the imbalance. The next card we have is the Four of Swords, and this confirms what your body already knows. The Four of Swords represents a deep need for mental stillness, recovery, a pause from emotional warfare. You have been running on fumes emotionally, replaying old arguments and dissecting every interaction for hidden meaning. The Four of Swords says your mind needs permission to stop analyzing what went wrong and just breathe. You spent countless nights lying awake, turning memories over, searching for the moment everything shifted between you. The Four of Swords confirms you are mentally drained, and the exhaustion affects how you process everything. Your intuition remains sharp, but overthinking has been drowning out what it tries to tell you constantly. The Four of Swords asks you to build space between their chaos and your peace, protective, sacred space. You owe yourself the quiet you have been denying, and this card says healing begins in that stillness. The clarity you seek will not arrive through more analysis. It surfaces only when you allow yourself rest. Then we have the Ten of Wands, and this mirrors what you have been carrying alone for months. The Ten of Wands represents an unbearable load, emotions stacked so high you can barely see forward. You have been shouldering the emotional weight of this connection, carrying burdens that were never yours alone. The Ten of Wands confirms you absorbed their mood swings, their avoidance, and internalized it as failure. That was never your burden, and the Ten of Wands says it is time to set those weights down. You have been managing the emotional labor of two people inside a fractured, completely lopsided dynamic. The Ten of Wands reveals that part of your exhaustion comes from refusing to release the hope entirely. You keep holding the door open, even when your arms ache, because walking away feels like betrayal. But the Ten of Wands says the bravest act is releasing what no longer serves your peace or growth. You are not abandoning love by protecting yourself. You are honoring it in its highest, purest form. That is what sits on your side of this reading, and every card validates what your heart already knows. That is your energy in this moment, and it deserves to be witnessed and honored without question. Okay, let us step fully into their world now, because what is happening inside them is volatile. This person is not handling your absence the way they expected, and it has shaken them to the core. They assumed they could walk in and out of your life freely, and that arrogance has caught up with them. The control they believed they held over this connection has dissolved, and they have no blueprint for what follows. They are sitting in the wreckage of their own choices, and every day without you amplifies the damage. So the first card on their side is the Three of Swords, and this cuts directly to the wound. The Three of Swords confirms that this person is experiencing genuine heartbreak, not performance, not manipulation. They feel the sting of every careless word they spoke, every cold shoulder they offered when you needed warmth. The Three of Swords says regret has moved beyond their thoughts. It has settled physically inside their chest. They replay the moments they dismissed you, the times they chose pride over tenderness, and it wrecks them. The Three of Swords reveals that they grieve you while you are still alive, still reachable, still breathing nearby. That specific grief is devastating because it carries the knowledge that they caused this fracture with their own hands. Nobody did this to them. No outside force intervened. They dismantled something sacred through selfishness and neglect. The Three of Swords confirms they cry when nobody is watching, in the car, in the shower, at night. The tears surprise them because they never believed they were capable of feeling this deeply about anyone at all. This person underestimated what you meant to them, and the Three of Swords is the price of that blindness. They are learning what loss tastes like, and it is nothing they were prepared to swallow. The next card is the Tower, and this confirms that their entire inner world has collapsed around them. The Tower represents sudden upheaval, forced awakening, the violent destruction of every false structure they relied upon. The version of themselves that treated you carelessly has been demolished, and they cannot rebuild it even if they tried. The Tower says they are in the middle of a breakdown that is simultaneously the beginning of a breakthrough. Everything they believed about love, about independence, about their own invincibility has been stripped away in your absence. The Tower confirms that losing you triggered an identity crisis they never anticipated and cannot outrun or medicate. They are questioning every decision they made, every wall they built, wondering how they became so disconnected from love. The Tower reveals that mutual friends, family, or circumstances have also reflected their failure back at them recently. The outside world is mirroring what the cards already show, and they cannot escape the truth closing in. The Tower says the old version of this person had to die, so that something honest could eventually emerge. They are terrified of who they are becoming without you, because that version has no armor left at all. The Tower confirms this is not a phase, it is a permanent restructuring of how they experience attachment. Then we have the Knight of Cups, and this card reveals what is forming beneath the destruction and grief. The Knight of Cups says that through all the pain, a genuine romantic impulse is rising to the surface. This person is developing the desire to approach you differently, with openness they never offered you before now. The Knight of Cups confirms they fantasize about returning to you as a changed, emotionally available version of themselves. They rehearse grand gestures in their mind. Imagine sweeping you off your feet, proving they are different now. The Knight of Cups reveals that their feelings have matured through the suffering, even if their actions lag behind. They are caught between wanting to rush toward you immediately and knowing they have not yet earned the right. The Knight of Cups says the selfish version of this person is dying, and something tender is replacing it. But the cards also carry a warning within that transformation, and that warning unfolds as the reading continues. So, let us look at the action unfolding, because this person is not standing still anymore. The breakdown they went through has produced a shift, and that shift is now translating into movement. They have crossed the line from internal suffering into external decision making, and the cards confirm the pivot. What was once paralysis and overthinking has transformed into a deliberate plan aimed directly at reaching you. The wheels are turning, and whether you are ready for it or not, something is heading your way. The first card here is the Six of Swords, and this represents a critical transition already in motion. The Six of Swords says this person is actively leaving behind the version of themselves that mistreated you. They are making a conscious departure from old habits, old patterns, the selfishness that drove you away. The Six of Swords confirms they are moving toward calmer waters, and those waters lead directly to your shore. This is not impulsive action. This is a calculated, exhausted surrender. They are done fighting what they feel. The Six of Swords says they may reach out through a calm, measured message rather than a dramatic gesture. Expect communication that feels different from anything they have sent before. Quieter, humbler, stripped of performance. The Six of Swords confirms a physical or emotional distance between you is about to shrink considerably, and soon. They may show up in spaces where they know you will be, positioning themselves close without forcing confrontation. The Six of Swords reveals that a mutual connection or shared environment becomes the bridge that reopens contact. This person is walking toward you, carrying the weight of everything they broke, and they know the cost. The Six of Swords says the approach will feel somber, grounded, nothing like the hot and cold chaos before. They are arriving not with excuses, but with the quiet acknowledgement that they failed you and cannot undo it. The transition the Six of Swords describes has already begun, and the momentum behind it is not reversible. Then we have the Magician, and this card reveals the strategy forming behind their next move toward you. The Magician represents resourcefulness, calculated intent, a person gathering every tool available to recapture your attention. This person is studying what you respond to, what softens your walls, and crafting their approach around that. The Magician says they will present the best possible version of themselves when they finally make their move. Expect deliberate charm, thoughtful gestures, things that feel specifically designed to remind you of what once worked. The Magician confirms they are not leaving this to chance. Every word they speak will be intentional and precise. They may use nostalgia as a doorway, referencing old memories and inside moments that only the two of you share. The Magician says they will try to demonstrate change through visible action, not empty promises or hollow apologies. A gift, a letter, a gesture rooted in something meaningful between you. That is the vehicle they choose. The Magician confirms they are pulling from every resource, emotional and practical, to engineer a second chance with you. But the reading also carries a necessary warning that you need to hold close as this movement arrives. The Magician can represent genuine transformation, but it can also represent someone skilled at telling you what you want. The cards urge discernment, because the line between real change and a convincing performance can be dangerously thin. Watch their consistency over time, not the intensity of their return. That is where truth reveals itself. Action without sustained follow-through is just another cycle dressed in better clothing, and you deserve more than that. The cards confirm movement is coming, but they also confirm that your boundaries will determine what happens next. That is the action the cards reveal, and it arrives carrying both possibility and a caution you must not ignore. Now, let us pull back the final curtain, because what this person hides from you is staggering. These are the confessions they swallow before they reach their lips, the truths they guard with everything. What lives beneath the surface of their pride is not what you would expect. It is far more tender. They carry admissions so vulnerable that speaking them out loud would strip away every wall they have built. The cards are exposing what they rehearse in the dark, alone, and it changes the entire picture. So, our first card is the Hanged Man, and this reveals a confession rooted in total surrender. The Hanged Man says this person has privately accepted that their life does not function without you in it. They have tried to move on, tried to fill the void with distractions, and every attempt collapsed on contact. The Hanged Man confirms they reached a point of complete stillness where denial was no longer an option. The confession buried here is this: they know they were the problem, not you, not timing, not circumstance. They have suspended every excuse they once clung to and finally see the situation with brutal, unflinching honesty. The Hanged Man reveals they have told themselves in the quietest hours that they deserve to lose you, not because they want to, but because they understand the damage they caused and cannot pretend otherwise anymore. They punish themselves privately for every moment they chose ego over tenderness, distance over presence, pride over love. The Hanged Man says their greatest unspoken confession is that they would trade anything to rewind and choose differently. They fantasize about a version of events where they never pulled away, never went cold, never played games. That alternate reality haunts them relentlessly, and the Hanged Man confirms they revisit it almost obsessively now. The next card is the Ace of Cups, and this uncovers an emotional awakening they cannot contain much longer. The Ace of Cups says this person has discovered a depth of feeling inside themselves that they never knew existed. Losing you cracked something open, and what poured out was not anger or resentment. It was pure, raw love. The Ace of Cups confirms they finally understand what they feel for you, and the clarity overwhelms them daily. They want to tell you that they love you in a way they have never loved another living soul. That confession sits permanently on the tip of their tongue, aching to be released, but trapped behind terror. The Ace of Cups reveals they have written letters to you that were never sent, filled with unfiltered devotion. Pages of truth they poured out at midnight, confessing every regret, then folded away where nobody would find them. The Ace of Cups says they dream of starting completely fresh with you. No baggage, no history, no scoreboard. They crave a blank page where they can prove through patience and presence that they are not who they were. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles, and this exposes the most intimate desire they refuse to voice. The Queen of Pentacles says this person secretly fantasizes about building a stable, grounded, domestic life with you. They picture mornings together, quiet routines, shared meals, the kind of ordinary intimacy they once dismissed as boring. The Queen of Pentacles confirms they now crave exactly what they used to run from, and that irony devastates them. They want to provide for you, nurture you, create safety around you in ways they never bothered to before. The Queen of Pentacles reveals they have mentally rearranged their entire life to make space for your return. Finances, living situations, daily habits, they have quietly restructured everything in anticipation of earning a second chance. The confession they guard most fiercely is that you are the only future that makes sense to them anymore. Without you, every achievement feels hollow, every milestone tastes bitter, and the Queen of Pentacles confirms that emptiness. They do not just miss you, they miss who they become when your presence gives their world meaning. That is the hidden truth buried on their side, and the weight of it grows heavier with every passing day. That is what they confess only to themselves, and every card confirms it runs deeper than words can hold. Okay, let us bring this reading to its final close because the last cards carry decisive weight. The near future between you and this person is not quiet. It is charged with inevitable confrontation and truth. What has been simmering beneath the surface on both sides is about to demand a face-to-face reckoning. The universe is no longer allowing either of you to avoid what needs to be said and resolved. A moment of absolute clarity is approaching, and it will force a decision neither of you can postpone. So, the first card for what lies ahead is Judgment, and this carries the full weight of divine timing. Judgment says a pivotal encounter is approaching where the past is laid bare and both sides must answer. This is not a casual conversation. It is a defining crossroads, one that reshapes the entire connection permanently. Judgment confirms that this person will come to you stripped of pretense, offering the rawest version of themselves. The near future holds an exchange where old wounds are acknowledged, patterns are named, and intentions are declared. Judgment says the universe is orchestrating this reunion, and neither avoidance nor pride can override what is destined. Whether this leads to reconciliation or permanent closure depends entirely on the authenticity behind their transformation. Judgment confirms that the truth will be impossible to hide in that moment. The cards guarantee full exposure. Now, the advice card is the Seven of Pentacles, and this carries a message you must absorb carefully. The Seven of Pentacles says, do not rush your decision. Let their actions accumulate before you offer your trust. Patience is your greatest weapon right now, because time reveals what words alone never can about intentions. The Seven of Pentacles advises you to observe from a grounded place, not an emotional or reactive one. Watch what they plant, not what they promise, because the harvest will tell you everything their mouth cannot. The Seven of Pentacles says your worth is not measured by whether you forgive fast or hold your ground. Protect your peace fiercely, and only reopen the door when sustained effort matches the magnitude of their words. The Seven of Pentacles confirms that the right answer will reveal itself through patience, not pressure or urgency. You have invested enough already, and this card says the next investment must come from them, not you. Let us return to the message that opened this entire reading and anchor it one final time. This selfish, hot and cold person is losing it over you. They want you back, but a caution remains. That message was validated from the very first card pulled, and it held steady across every single part. The Page of Swords exposed their obsessive, spiraling thoughts. The Five of Wands revealed the war raging inside them. The Devil confirmed their addiction to you. Strength illuminated the quiet power you carry through all of this. The Four of Swords honored your need for stillness. The Ten of Wands named the unfair weight you carried. The Three of Swords exposed their genuine heartbreak. The Tower confirmed the total collapse of who they used to be. The Knight of Cups revealed the romantic impulse forming beneath the wreckage. The Six of Swords confirmed their approach. The Magician showed calculated strategy behind their return. The Hanged Man unveiled their private surrender to the truth. The Ace of Cups exposed the love they cannot contain. The Queen of Pentacles revealed their craving for stability. Judgment announced the defining encounter ahead, and the Seven of Pentacles advised patience as your strongest shield. Every card pointed to the same undeniable reality, and the warning woven through it protects you moving forward. This person is losing it over you, and that is confirmed. But you hold the power in what happens next. You are not obligated to return to anyone who broke you, no matter how beautifully they ask for re-entry. Trust your instincts, honor your boundaries, and let their consistency over time be the only evidence you accept. You deserve a love that never makes you question your worth, and the cards confirm that truth absolutely. The Devil confirmed their addiction to you. Strength illuminated the quiet power you carry through all of this. The Four of Swords honored your need for stillness. The Ten of Wands named the unfair weight you carried. The Three of Swords exposed their genuine heartbreak. The Tower confirmed the total collapse of who they used to be. The Knight of Cups revealed the romantic impulse forming beneath the wreckage. The Six of Swords confirmed their approach. The Magician showed calculated strategy behind their return. The Hanged Man unveiled their private surrender to the truth. The Ace of Cups exposed the love they cannot contain. The Queen of Pentacles revealed their craving for stability. Judgment announced the defining encounter ahead, and the Seven of Pentacles advised patience as your strongest shield. Every card pointed to the same undeniable reality, and the warning woven through it protects you moving forward. This person is losing it over you, and that is confirmed. But you hold the power in what happens next. You are not obligated to return to anyone who broke you, no matter how beautifully they ask for re-entry. Trust your instincts, honor your boundaries,